Hey, ladies, welcome or welcome back. We got a lot to talk about today. Tyra sues Netflix, Chris Brown, and dog fatigue, Lavar Burton's hair. Not being able to work on your car anymore might be a thing. Health and your gut could be the key to cancer treatment success. And UK boy receives life saving allergy treatment in the USA. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, that's how you work it, lady.
All right, girl. So yeah, let's run our mouths a little bit here and get into today's topic. Boy, we got a lot to talk about. So Tyra Banks. Oh man. I feel a little bit bad about this. So Tyra Banks is suing Netflix. Tyra Banks filed a defamation lawsuit against Netflix on Saturday, accusing the streaming giant of manipulating her into participating in a bombshell documentary about her former reality show, America's Next Top Model. This is on NBCNews.com. Raise your hand if you used to watch Top Model as a child. Like, literally live for that show. Like, my little self was just like, oh, I just love this so much. My favorite part was just like seeing them do the photo shoots, like that whole creative aspect of it. But anyway, I did watch this documentary on Netflix. And shout out to everybody who participated. I do feel so bad for Miss J because oh man, he has just really been through like some stuff, with his health and everything. He was kind of like in a wheelchair and everything. In during the documentary, either that, maybe he was on the wheelchair in a documentary or on a interview that I seen. I could be mixing the two up, so don't quote me. Everything is alleged. Y'all know that I don't actually know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I did see the documentary, and I will just tell you just my little 2 cents from like my perspective of someone who's worked on documentaries behind the scenes. um, I can tell a little bit that I do feel like there is some truth to what Tyra's saying is that she was kind of tricked a little bit. I have seen this type of behavior on set where people be doing documentaries. They would try to get them, liquored up. They would try to get them to do all kinds of things. So they will get on the, camera and just blab and spill a bunch of stuff. Maybe they didn't want to spill. And so obviously I think Tyra knew enough not to do that. Like obviously she's had her own TV show, so she wouldn't fall for some of those kind of rookie tricks. But I could tell when they were interviewing her that the way she was responding to the questions, she had no idea of what those others had said or even if they were going to be a part of the documentary. That's just how I feel from looking at it from someone who has worked behind the scenes. I could be wrong because remember, I have no clue what I'm talking about. But to me, when I saw it, as I was seeing her talk and give her 2 cents on a few of the situations that were like controversial with the show, and especially between her and Miss J and some of the other things that had gone on, I was like, I know she is not expecting what she's going to see when this comes out. Like she thinks she's giving her perspective in a different way, maybe not even related to what they're asking, and this is going to be tied in and cut up and sliced and diced and be made to look like something totally different. So I do feel that's just my personal commentary, my 2 cents, that there is some truth to that. So of course she participated in this part documentary, and she again reports that she alleges that her confessionals were stripped of context and reassembled to support a false and defamatory narrative unrelated to what she actually expressed. And guys, I have seen this in real time with my own eyes. I have seen someone sit down, be interviewed on camera for a documentary. I hear with my own eyes what they say and the context of the conversation, and then I go watch it on TV and it's something totally different. I have seen it. Okay. And so, again, I do feel like there's some truth to what she's saying. Of course, Netflix declined to comment. I shan't comment. Okay. So that is a little disrespectful, but anyway, that's probably because they have to lawyer up and everything. But she says she agreed to participate because she believed that her viewers deserved a candid conversation about the show's legacy, its successes, and its shortcomings. But again, she was not. She just feels like she was misrepresented in her, what she shared in the documentary. So, she says she wishes that somebody involved with Netflix series would have told her that Miss Sullivan shared with them the suit continues, and they deliberately chose not to share some of these things. Sullivan did not immediately return requests for comment, and Banks is seeking damages for loss of future business opportunities, loss of business income, and compounding losses, as will be shown at trial. So basically, she's upset because the way that she was answering does paint her in kind of a bad light. But again, it's because the context just was not there. So anyway, shout outs, to Tyra Banks, shout out to everybody because I don't know these people and I'm wishing them all the best and hope that they can get it together. Okay, so let's go ahead and skip over a little bit and talk about this next one. Chris Brown. Whew, or I don't even know what to say. It's a shame because Chris Brown is so talented. Like, remember we were kids back in the day, like, oh, Chris Brown, but I just feel like he's just always in trouble. But I do feel like he's doing these things, and I do feel like there is a really good guy inside of there, but unfortunately, maybe some emotional dysregulation or just, he's I don't know. I don't know. No comment. I don't know. But something, is has always kind of been a little bit trouble with Chris Brown. But I think other people can see it too because even despite all of his, traumas and everything that he's been through, his audience has forgiven him. I mean, he's still very successful. He still is selling out concerts and everything like that. So I think people like the general public just kind of want to keep believing in him because he is so talented and they do want the best for him. And I will say in recent times, he has been a little bit more low key. I have not been hearing as many things as before about him and everything. The DV stuff, domestic violence stuff was always a no for me. That'll get you off my list real quick. Thankfully, it doesn't seem like that anything like that has at least happened this year. Although, in addition to the way back in the day stuff with Rihanna, there have been other things with different ones that have come up. We're not going to get into that on here because everything is alleged, and I don't know what I'm actually talking about. However, TMZ does have this article up that I will give a little bit of commentary on about. He is right now in a legal battle. His ex housekeeper is demanding $90 million. And he says, "Look, 90 mil is not stressing me out." Okay, hey, must be nice to have that kind of money. But anyway, he's back in court with this battle because his former housekeeper is claiming that she was viciously mauled by a dog outside his LA home. Days after lots of drama, erupted, it kind of everything has started to escalate, and now they're still kind of doing this ongoing legal battle. At one point, there was a mistrial, a lot's going on. But anywho, this is kind of what I found interesting. This article on TMZ says that when asked how he felt about the trial, Chris smiled and waved. The singer didn't seem too concerned about the 90 million Maria is seeking in damages over her alleged physical and emotional injuries. Chris denies all allegations of wrongdoing and believes Maria provoked the dog, which led to the attack. Okay, now see, that's the part right there that I'm not understanding because regardless, first of all, no one wants to provoke a dog. I mean, you could provoke a dog just by like walking around or giving them food or saying, "Hey puppy, how are you?" That dog could take that as provocation. Okay? And so like regardless if the dog was provoked or not, it's still attacked and that's still a problem. Um TMZ does seem to have some images up, which if this is her, I mean, this looks really bad. I mean, this looks like facial reconstruction is going to be needed, massive surgeries. You know what I mean? Yeah, it seems like a problem. So I'm just kind of not understanding his very nonchalant, you know, attitude about this. And maybe it is time that he kind of really, like, maybe not be able to get away with so much, because again, people have still loved him through all the other kind of trouble that he's been in. And even with this could be an opportunity for him to be like, man, I'm so sorry this happened, like really sorry that she got attacked by the dog or whatever. But he's just kind of like, hey, yo, I don't care, it is what it is. So it's just like, okay, that's interesting, sir. Yeah, so that's interesting. But I really feel like people really have to understand, like, their dogs can hurt people, and you might be familiar with your dog. Most people don't get attacked by their own dogs. I did not pull any statistics on that. Don't quote me. That's just my commentary, commentative opinion. I usually hear of people's dogs attacking other people because they're protective of their property. They're protective of their owner. So most of the time, you're going to get attacked, when it's not your own dog. But sometimes that kind of lures people into thinking like, oh, well, the dog ain't attacking me. So it must be something that you're doing, or what were you doing to get attacked by a dog? And it's just like, dogs are wild animals, guys. Like, I mean, wild probably ain't the word, but they are animals. And I am a dog lover. I was like, one of my first jobs as a kid was a dog walker, and I love that. And I had so many dogs that I walked in. They were all so cuddly and cute, except for one. I had one hot mess dog that also liked to bite and that was mentally ill. But other than that dog, all the other ones was good. And that was my first time quitting too. I was like 11, and I was like, you know what? I quit, okay? I literally quit. I had this dog up in there jumping at people, barking all loud, chomping at me every time I try to put the dog leash on. Ain't nobody got time. So anyway, this whole case just kind of like, and I hope it works out well. I hope they're able to come to like a nice agreement between, his housekeeper, domestic worker, yeah, and himself. Hopefully they're able to come to a good understanding and walk away. It doesn't seem like he cares either way. And maybe he's just trying to put up a good front and he really does care, or maybe he just really doesn't. I mean, maybe he just has cash like that and does not mind losing some, or maybe he just feels very confident that this woman ain't gonna get a dime of his money because he's got better lawyers. I don't know. Alleged, I don't know. But again, just kind of reporting on this just to stress the safety of dog safety, and safety when your dog is interacting with the public. And that just kind of brings me on to this next topic that I wanted to talk about, which ties in with this, which is literal dog fatigue, guys. People have dog fatigue. Now, there is a lot of fatigues that are related to human beings that people have right now, because everything is just so polarized and gross right now. We're not going to talk about those human fatigues, but we are going to talk about dog fatigue, okay? And just in the past 2 months alone, guys, there's 6 viral stories that I have that I want to share here for everybody, but also especially you dog owners. Because maybe it'll help you to just like chill just a little. Okay, can you guys chill a little bit with the dogs? Because a lot of us have fatigue. And I won't actually, no, I am going to say it. I do have dog fatigue. And I'm an animal lover, guys. Like, I literally love dogs. My favorite dog is a golden retriever. Like, literally love that dog. I love Yorkies. I love like so many dogs, but like literally people just be doing the absolute most with their dogs. So like, yeah. So anyway, um one story I want to talk about. You've probably seen this one on TikTok. Gordon Ramsay, he had an incident at one of his restaurants. It says Gordon Ramsay restaurant dog controversy. This story exploded after a woman posted that a dog allegedly used a pee pad near her table at Gordon Ramsay's London restaurant while she was dining with her newborn. Oh my goodness. You know that this is about where Gordon Ramsay was at. Like, this dude goes hard like this for far less. Like, far less. So you know he had to be so heated. I wish, oh gosh, I need to like get the video up for this. But anyway, this is from the Scottish Sun. And it says the video triggered a huge online fight over whether dogs belong in restaurants at all. People flooded comments saying that they're tired of dogs in every human space, especially around food. Ramsey later pushed back and said the claims were exaggerated, but the backlash was had already gone viral. So I agree. I don't think dogs should be in restaurants. I don't think dogs should be in every space. I had the anyway, you know what? I ain't even gonna go there because I ain't trying to mess up my bag. Let me shut my mouth. I ain't even gonna say that anyway. I will just say this, like, people do have dog fatigue, and I don't think that they belong in restaurants. Um, if there are dog friendly restaurants, take them there. And if you are dog friendly and want to create a space for dog friendliness and it's a restaurant, go for it. I think that's a great idea, actually, because then the puppies get to engage with other dogs and you get to meet other dog owners. And then people who don't want dogs up in their space, they know not to go up over there. Okay, because I'm not going. And that's another thing. Like, I get so upset nowadays. A lot of these hotels are dog hotels, and these crazies do not tell you that you at a dog hotel. And when I figure out that I'm at a dog hotel after I think I'm paying for a regular hotel, I just want to just call the hotel and be like, you guys are hotels. Literally, I get so heated. I literally get so heated. So I don't think that dogs should be in every space. I think that if you take on ownership of a dog, you need to prioritize having your dog in your home space and at dog parks and places for dogs. You know, it's a store you could take a dog. It's called PetSmart. Take their little butts up in there and let them bark and pee and boo boo on the floor and do whatever they want to do over there. But when I'm trying to do my grocery shopping and there's dog poo poo, especially in LA, there's so many dogs in LA stores. It gets so annoying. How many times have I seen dog poo poo, dog pee pee when I'm trying to buy my produce? Like, literally, it is too much. It's too much. Okay. So some more complaints out of NYC. Dog complaints hit record high. This became one of the biggest dog fatigue stories in America recently. In New York City, complaints about dogs in food establishments have surged, with reports of dogs barking, roaming bakeries, licking produce, and disturbing customers. One bakery reportedly received hundreds of complaints. Online reaction was intense, with many saying enforcement is basically non-existent because businesses are afraid to confront dog owners. And that's from the New York Post. Y'all, like, there has to be some laws around this now because people are getting out of hand and everybody is saying that their dog is an emotional support dog just to get around, like, being able to take their dog everywhere. And it's just not fair. And you are abusing that privilege for people who really do need, like, CNI dogs or emotional support dogs who really, really need them. And just because you have diagnosed yourself with anxiety does not mean you need an emotional support dog. Like, literally, it's not okay just because you want to take your dog everywhere. It's too much. Texas, a TikTok showing a woman celebrating her dog's birthday inside a Texas row house. You know they ain't about this in Texas either. Like, they not about this in Texas. Went viral for all the wrong reasons. Staff sang to the dog and served it steak, which some people found adorable, but others were furious. The biggest complaint: people are increasingly uncomfortable with pets being normalized in indoor dining spaces. The backlash got so loud the chain had to publicly clarify its dog policy. Let me tell you something. If I was in the Texas Roadhouse, which for me, like, Texas Roadhouse is not expensive, but that's not somewhere we go every day because we try to pinch our little pennies. So if I'm there, I'm really wanting to enjoy my experience. Okay. Like, ooh, I'm going to have something really good today. Like, we at Texas Roadhouse. Okay. And I walk over and I see a dog chomping on a steak from a plate I know someone else is going to have to eat off of. I know they sanitize it. I know they do all the things, but girl, that's nasty. And let's talk about that. Some dog owners are real nasty. Y'all letting these dogs lick you in your mouth after they done lick their booties and every dog in the city's booty. And then they want to come lick you in the mouth. And then you want to tell me when I'm visiting, oh, put your face out and let him lick your face. He wants to be your friend. I'm not putting my face out for your dog to lick my face, okay? And this is kind of stuff like it's nasty. I don't want to sit on a chair that a dog has been sitting on. First of all, ticks are an epidemic now. I can't tell you how many times I have been somewhere where dogs are at. People have brought their dogs, and I have had to pull ticks off of my kids and take them to the ER to get that medication so they don't get Lyme's disease. I don't want to deal with that. Like, or people asking if they can bring their dog to your house. Like, no, do not bring your dog to my house. My area is a dog-free zone. It is sterile up in here. I like it almost kind of looks like nobody even lives here on like the one part of our place. Like it's a white couch, white curtains, like it's not giving dog friendly up in here. Okay. So like, no. So let's go on to another one. DC restaurant patio backlash, a viral local debate in Washington, D.C. centered around dogs taking over restaurant patios. Complaints including barking during meals, dogs blocking walkways, some owners becoming aggressive when confronted. How dare you become aggressive when confronted? I cannot. Wow. And now these dog owners in DC, girl, because they real brazen in DC. I know DC too. They literally will get like on you about their dog, okay? Just like in New York about their dogs. It's just like, okay. So people are finally saying enough. There's a lot going on Reddit, TikTok, and people are really just expressing that they have dog fatigue. They're sick and tired of, these dog friendly spaces. We had to get a literal refund because nowhere on this hotel's website did they say this was a dog hotel. So I walk in the hotel and I immediately smell dog smell and boo boo. Dog smell and boo boo. And so I'm like, something is not right here. I feel like this is a dog hotel because I'm always searching when I'm on TripAdvisor, when I'm wherever I'm booking. I'm like, I don't want no dog hotel because I'm not getting in a tub that a dog has been in. I ain't sleeping in no bed that a dog has been in. None of that garbage. Okay. So I immediately was like, this ain't right. It was already late by the time we checked in. So I was like, let's go to the room. We asked the lady, we were like, oh, this looks like a dog hotel. She's like, oh, yeah, it is a dog hotel. I was like, it's late, but you know what? Let's try it. I was like, do you have a dedicated wing, like a wing for all the people with dogs and then a wing for your guests that don't have dogs? Oh, no, we don't have it. It's just all mixed in. And I was like, this is about to be a catastrophe, but I'm going to still try. I'm going to persevere for my kids and my husband because we're tired. So we go up into the room again. The smell of boo boo and dog literally like knocks me off my feet when I open this hotel room. And this was not a cheap hotel. This was a $200 a night hotel. I'm not paying $200 a night to roll around in a boo boo and dog smell bed. Like, I'm not doing that with y'all. I'm just not doing it. Okay. So immediately I was like, y'all don't touch nothing. We're going back, downstairs because I'm not about to catch fleas and ticks for y'all. All because y'all want to bring your dogs everywhere. Y'all keep the fleas and ticks at y'all house because truth be told, some of y'all dog owners, I can tell you a dog owner before you even like say it. And I hate to say that. Okay, I could tell because the smell is there. The hair is all over you. You know what I'm saying? You already told me that you have like tick bites and, fleas and all of this stuff already. So you already showing me what it's like and I'm not interested. So anyway, it took us weeks to get our refund, but we did eventually get our refund. But again, there was no disclosure that this was a dog hotel. And I did say, I'm like, you guys have to tell people, like, if you are a dog hotel, you better let people know. let people know. Do not just sit up there and let people check in and think this is a regular hotel. Anyway, I could go on for days about the dogs in human spaces. And then what's so disgusting to me also, y'all, is that people literally hate children, literally hate literal human life, the most complex, most beautiful life form on the planet. There is nothing more beautiful than a human baby. There is nothing more beautiful than a human baby. Nothing. And they will sit up there and be like, oh, I love dogs. The minute you try to bring a baby somewhere, they're upset. And it's just like, some people really do have mental illness. The fact that you are okay with animals in human spaces, but you're not okay with adorable babies in human spaces. Yes, sometimes they cry and sometimes they poo poo and pee pee too. But guess what? That's all human poo poo and pee pee. You're not going to get fleas from a baby. You're not going to get all these other diseases that I cover on my podcast that come from animals. You're not going to get that from a baby. Okay? Like, it's not that serious. It's like, how about value human life? Like, literally value human life. Like, I can't. I literally just can't. Let me change the subject before I go off hard. Like, literally, let me take a deep breath and sip some water, girl. So, next topic, let's talk about this. Y'all have better stop talking about Lavar Burton, Mr. Reading Rainbow. You have better keep his name out of your mouth. We all remember that. And like, I can't really remember Reading Rainbow like that. Like, I remember watching Reading Rainbow in school. Like, that would be like our thing. Like, oh, there was this show like Reading Rainbow, and like, let's look at some old episodes. And I can remember watching that in like elementary school and being like, oh, this show is so cool. And like, loving it. But again, I can't really remember like anything it was about. I was a little too young, but I just can remember the nostalgia and the warm, fuzzy feelings. And, hey, this is all about reading and reading Rainbow. I think even one of my teachers, maybe like kindergarten teacher or something like that, was saying like, oh, let's do a reading Rainbow. And like, we did like drew some kind of rainbow with books or something, but it was just very, like, so nice. But anyway, so this guy, Mr. LeVar Burton, this really, really, really is someone who is a part of the kind of like American nostalgia of warm, fuzzy feelings and like educating. He also has been in some very important film roles. He played Kunta Kinte in Roots. So if you've never seen that, again, we did watch it in school when I was much older, so it was a much older movie. I think it came out in the 70s, probably not the 60s, probably came out in the 70s or maybe the 80s, but it's like a old movie, but it talks about like the life of, and then it's based on Alex Haley's family tree. He traced his lineage, all the way back. And, he kind of shared and created, a couple of people went into the creation of the movie. But anyway, he played this important character, Kunta Kinte. He's had lots of different roles. And he's just a very respected person for his contributions to society, to literacy, literature. His whole family, I watched an interview with him. I believe one of his family members was also an educator, and he just comes from a family that just loves, loves, loves um, educating, loves the youth. Just really, really, really good people. You ain't gonna never hear nothing bad about LeVar Burton, okay? So anyway, what's going on? Why are people upset about his hair? So he, of course, now is an older guy. He's graying, and people have also noticed a texture change in his hair. So when he was on the earlier days of this show, I picked up some pictures, and I'm like, oh yeah, all those fuzzy memories. This is what he looked like. He had your textured Black American hair. He had even more, I would say, a thicker, fuller texture, very full bodied hair. Typical, kind of faded with the like short bit on top and everything. And now he's got a looser hairstyle. Some people are like, oh, why did he straighten his hair? Why did he relax his hair? See, this is why I get mad because people don't understand Black American like DNA and lineage and history. Like, this is not common for Black Americans to literally have a completely different look when they age. Now, he may have done something or he may have done nothing. People will start out usually when they are Black American a little darker and tighter hair texture when they are younger, and as they get older, kind of some of those white genes that we have start to come out, and it just the hair gets looser. People start getting lighter because then I also saw a side by side comparison to him when he was in um that movie Roots, and he was super deep toned, and now he's like a little bit lighter. He's noticeably lighter, and they're like, "Oh, he's self-hate. He's bleaching. He doing this. He doing that." I'm like, this is just him aging. Like, I really would be very doubtful that he has done anything to himself. This is just how Black Americans age. And again, it's not the same as how Africans age. Africans typically stay the same from birth all the way up to the end of their life. Same texture of hair, same skin tone, nothing changes. Black Americans are not the same. So we have a kind of a more of a mixed background. We have all the different types of African, and we have a little bit of European in there. You know, every family has a little more or a little less depending on your particular family. But typically, if you're a Black American or even a Caribbean American, you have more of a mixed background. So as people age, they start looking whiter, lighter. Okay, it is what it is. Okay, and so that's why I got so upset with this because I'm like, if y'all don't leave this man alone, he is so unproblematic and like literally causes no issues. So listen to this though, guys. I did not even realize that the classic Reading Rainbow was on from 1983 to 2006. That's a long run. Kudos to him. And of course, again, it kind of talks about like how he looked back then and how he looks now. And again, you know, only thing he might be doing is some people have like a little yellowing to their gray. And so, of course, y'all seen y'all grandma and stuff in there with the shimmer lights and the, you know, violet shampoos to make the white hair look really white. He might be doing that. But other than that, I really think this is just how he has changed. Now, this one I want to tread lightly on because this has not been confirmed. There is some online rumor that he actually had a cancer battle. He at one point had partnered with a blood cancer awareness campaign. And they're basically saying that it's basically being questioned like, did he partner with them because he had actually went through that particular cancer battle, or did he just partner with them just to advocate, you know, and there was no other connection to it? We don't know. I could not find enough online to say if it was or if it's not, but I will tell you, when people go through chemotherapy, their hair texture also does change. I have seen it with my own eyes as a hairstylist and having people in my family who have had it. You will have people who are Black Americans, okay, tightly textured hair, and after chemo, they've got straight hair, literally straight hair. I wouldn't believe it either if I didn't see it with my own eyes, okay? And so that could also be what's happening here. Maybe he did have chemo and we just don't know, and his hair texture has changed. And now is straight, plus the fact of him aging, and so now he, you know, maybe his hair is just super straight. I don't know, or maybe none of those are true, and he did decide, hey, I'm gonna just relax my hair. Whatever he wants to do is cool with me, because at the end of the day, we need to mind our own business. Okay, just literally mind our own business. Now let's talk about some of his recent work. So he currently hosts the reboot of Trivial Pursuit on the CW, and that's continued. Is expected to continue through the rest of the year. He also has a popular storybook telling podcast. It's basically Reading Rainbow for adults, where he reads short fiction and talks about storytelling. And the name of that podcast is called Lavar Burton reads. So I'm going to be checking that out. Shout out to the New Yorker for reporting on that. He also has a new book that is called Lavar. Oh, wait, hold on. What's the name of the book? Here we go. It's a memoir called It's Time for Me to Speak. Shout out to People Magazine for sharing that with us. So, overall, LeVar is just in a really interesting phase of life. He's still deeply connected to literacy, storytelling, education, and is even more mature than he's always been. And he's still, giving us so much good um, spaces, if you will, for literacy. Like he's just very big on literacy and reading and storytelling. And he just does a great job of being somebody in society that is just a stable, chill person, non problematic, great information that we could share, with our little ones and all that good stuff. So shout out to him. Hope he is continuing to do the thing. And yeah, happy to see all he's going to continue to achieve. And I know that he's not letting the haters bother him about his hair. Okay. All right. So let's go on to this one, guys. I don't know if you've heard about this. It's like one thing after the other. I just feel like nowadays there's just so many restrictions. So now here I am making you aware of another restriction. Um Restrictions are good, but when things become too restrictive and really nitpicky, it just gets annoying. So this next topic we're talking about is restrictions on repairing your personal cars. Okay? So there's some legislation that is in the works. It may pass, it may not, but I'm hoping that it all works out. So basically, what's happening is um, the Repair Act. I would definitely encourage you to go read the Repair Act. And what that is the Right to Equitable and Professional Auto Industry Repair Act. What it's actually intended to do is to protect your right to use small mechanics to repair your own car and not restrict it. It will require automakers to provide the same repair data and tools to owners and independent shops that dealerships get. So the controversy, though, is that some automakers and dealer groups have pushed back on this, citing cybersecurity, privacy, and safety concerns. And critics are saying that without these protections, automakers could effectively force more people back to dealerships for repairs. So basically, this Repair Act is basically designed to force them to disclose information like, there's these little boxes that you can get to like read your car and diagnose your car. Like if you have a husband like myself who's like handy and can work on a car, he may even have one of these already. Or if you have another family member or just someone who is good on working on cars, or maybe you're female and you work on cars, because that's a thing too. Hey girl, kudos to that. All right. So hopefully, if that's you, kudos to you. But literally, automotive manufacturers are so angry about this that they are working tirelessly to block this legislation. And if they can't get it blocked, what they're trying to do is make it so that um, basically the newer cars that they're going to do will not even like allow you to pull off any information from the car's internal computer so that you can't diagnose it, and you'll have to take it to a official repair facility or take it back to the dealer. And we know how the dealers operate. Now, here's the thing: people would actually prefer to take their car back to the dealer if the dealers didn't charge through the roof for no reason. Like to me, if someone buys a car from, let's say, Car Z, that's the company, right? And Car Z says, "Hey, you buy this car for me, you bring it back. The maintenance is going to be very cheap for you to get it done at the dealer." Like undercut the individual shops. Give us packages for buying a car with you so that we want to bring it back to you, because you do have the bigger, better facilities and you do have all the tie-ins with the offshore manufacturers and all that to get us the parts. But these dealers don't do that. Like, they don't do that. They literally charge 80,000 times more than your, standalone repair shops. And so people prefer to either do it themselves or take it to the standalone repair shop. So, I'm hoping that this kind of like fizzles out, and I hope it works out for the best. I wanted to bring this up because I know many of us here are always trying to save money. I'm so thankful for my husband. He is able to work on cars and do, I would say, about 80% of our own work. Only things he can't do is like remove a complete engine, because, we just don't have the tools for that and to do that safely. But most things he can do himself. Like, I'm not trying to have to take our car to the shop just to get an oil change. And that is how detailed this is going to get. They are making the cars so that you basically are going to need codes just to change the oil in your car. Now, again, remember, I don't actually know what I'm talking about, and I'm commentating on this, but I would just encourage you to just visit the Repair Act, and see what it's talking about, and then maybe look up what manufacturers are doing to kind of block this and kind of get your own idea and feeling about it. I will say, this again is that sneaky thing that happens when everybody starts complaining about everything we have here in the USA, and then the big people, these car manufacturers, hear that, and then they go, oh, well, let's start doing things like Germany and France and the UK, and we mess up a good thing that we have here. And the reason I say that is because Germany has similar restrictions already. So, really, the Germans do struggle to work on their car, themselves. Again, I don't actually know what I'm talking about, but based on what I'm gathering online, um, this is much harder to work on your car in Germany to do repairs or even take your car to an independent shop because they've already put so many restrictions in place. The same is true of France and the UK, although they are a little bit more um, lax, if you will, or maybe lax isn't the right word, but a little more open to people working on on their cars. Um, Also, Japan is a huge one. Japan has very strict inspections. Um, they really have this system that they called shaken. It's extremely strict and expensive, and major repairs often meet the exact standard. So many owners only use certified shops, and modifications and self repairs can actually cause a lot of issues. So, other tricks to look out for that your car manufacturers are starting to do here already is, hey, you work on your car, you're going to void your warranty. Hey, you work on your car, we can't guarantee A, B, C, and D. So, if you got an old car, girl, hold on to that bad boy, because a lot of the older cars might be able to fly under the radar on this, but like your 2026s and above might be subject to more restrictions if they can't, get this legislation hammered out and agreed upon to something that we, the consumers, as well as the uh, car dealers, are, finding that able to find that happy medium. So we'll see. But you know what I'm gonna say? Please stop saying every other country that the UK and Germany and England, they've got it all better and they're just the perfect place to live, because these are the restrictions they have. They can't work on their cars there as freely as we can here. Um, it is what it is. So again, be thankful for what you got over here and stop complaining. Okay, so let's get into our next topic here. Okay. Next topic. If you are liking what you're hearing, please go ahead and put a heart in the chat. I would appreciate that. Thank you. So let's talk a little bit about gut health. You know how much we love health here on the podcast. I really love this. So a lot of studies have been published this month. And these studies are about strengthened evidence that they have identified that healthy gut microbiome can significantly improve cancer treatment success, especially with immunotherapy. So, what they have found is the biggest finding that they're really coming to realize now is healthier gut equals better response to immunotherapy. Hands down. Hands down. Okay. And so the strongest thing came from this month's research that patients with greater gut bacterial diversity and more beneficial bacteria tend to respond better to cancer treatment. That includes immunotherapy, chemotherapy, and even radiation. Okay. So if you know anyone who is on any of these immunotherapy, chemotherapy, or radiation, or if you in the future ever have to need any of these things, focus on that gut health, girl. Go ahead and eat those diverse fruits and veggies. Those are your prebiotics. They're going to break down in your tummy and give you a variety of good, healthy gut bacteria. In that case, maybe even have some prebiotic drinks, probiotic drinks. Make sure you're eating lots of leafy greens and veggies because all of those things are going to give you a diverse gut microbiome. So, researchers believe that the gut influences cancer outcomes because about 70% of the immune system is tied to the gut. Healthy gut bacteria help regulate inflammation, that's huge for cancer, strengthen the gut barrier, and activate T cells that attack tumors. And these are all recent findings from a paper that came out this June in Translational Oncology. This is the study, Translational Oncology, and this is where that paper was published. Okay. So, thank you to the folks at Translational Oncology. They are working tirelessly around the clock to really drive forward cancer research, especially with cancer research treatment and how to best get people to maximize the treatment and with minimal effect to the body to try to keep the body as intact so that some of these strong therapies, you know, aren't so depleting to people. Okay. So, also, researchers found that exercise improves gut microbiome function in ways that might directly enhance cancer treatment effectiveness. Exercise increased beneficial microbial activity, improved immune signaling, and reduced inflammation, and appeared to improve the response to immunotherapy, chemotherapy, and radiotherapy. That is incredible, guys. Do you hear what I'm saying? Running around, getting your steps in, lifting some weights, if you are in chemo, is actually going to help you. It is going to help you improve. It's going to help you heal faster. It is going to help you have that therapy go in and attack and do what it's supposed to do. Now, these are instructions that most cancer patients are given. A lot of cancer patients are given links to, dietitians, physical therapists, all these things. And the people who do all of the things, like they change their diet and they start exercising, always have better outcomes with their cancer. Like it is what it is, okay? So definitely it stinks because when you're on these therapies and these treatments, you're not feeling well. You're feeling terrible. But, just keep in mind these things are really going to help you, okay? Um this also in from the American Society of Clinical Oncology. They had a meeting this month, and researchers also presented evidence linking poor gut health to early onset colon cancer. And this is just one type of the cancers that all of these, um, improving your gut health are going to be still good for. But they did zero in on colon cancer. Um, it says that if you have poor gut health, you've got lower microbial diversity, you've got inflammatory bacteria, you've got higher gut inflammation, and of course, diets that are high in ultra processed foods are going to be damaging to the gut microbiome. So, really just try to hone in on this. I know these are not things that are easy to do because sometimes when you're sick, you're on chemo or whatever, you just want to eat something that's comforting to you. But definitely try to make sure you're getting in, some maybe vegan yogurt and pre and probiotics, diverse greens, legumes, beans, all those things are really going to help your gut microbiome. And it's really, really, really going to help you out a lot. So I found this information to be very important, very encouraging, and just really good for people to know that hey, there are natural things because we always talk about that, right? Like, what natural can I do? What natural can I do? Exercise is natural, guys. Exercise will literally prevent so many things. Exercise is natural. Eating fruits and veggies is natural. Supplements are not natural. So again, you can take them, but just know that in some ways you may be increasing your cancer risk, and you're not going to get that same gut microbiome diversity from taking a supplement as you are from eating fruits and veggies. So again, if you've been prescribed some supplements, maybe you're low in vitamin D, by all means, you need to take that. But over supplementing or just saying, hey, I saw this on TikTok and it's supposed to do all these things, let me take this supplement. You are probably messing up your health real bad, girl, real bad. Okay. Instead of doing that, you could do what's natural and simply eat fruits and veggies. That's all you got to do, girl. And since I have been doing that, I have been feeling a lot better. And I will tell you, recently, I have started exercising more, lifting heavier, doing all those things. And I cannot tell you how my body has changed and how much better I feel. It is insane. I was always kind of person like, oh, I got some steps in. I did a light jog. I'm good. Like, I was never really like super into weightlifting like that. But now I'm like, okay, I keep reading about the benefits of lifting weights. Let me do that. And guess what? You activate T cells when you do that. You are literally doing cancer prevention when you lift weights. Cancer prevention. Okay, so go ahead, girl. Get yourself some little 5 pounders, 10 pounders. Girl, go lift some soup cans. Girl, go pick up your couch. Do something because it's helping and it's natural. Okay, it's natural. Can we get a round of applause for natural? Do that. Okay, like literally do that. All right, moving on. So let's talk about our last story, guys. This one was very encouraging to me. Taking another drink again. So, um, there's a little boy, and he has been coming to the U.S. for allergy treatment. So, about this little boy, his name is Yan Jennings, and he's from Wales over in the UK. And he's extremely allergic to multiple things. He's allergic to peanuts and tree nuts, eggs, seafood, coconut, cats, and several other food slash environmental triggers. He's been coming here to the U.S. every 12 weeks for quite some time now to get some treatments. He's going out to California, which is roughly 5,000 miles from where he lives, and he's getting this specialized allergy elimination program. And this is something that is not available through the NHS. The NHS is the European, UK, England version of kind of the centralized health system there. They just don't have this available. So what he's doing is he's coming here for treatments, and the treatment is a form of intensive allergen immunotherapy desensitization. And these patients are exposed to extremely teeny amounts of allergens and gradually build up tolerance over time. And the goal isn't necessarily to cure the allergy overnight, but to reduce the severity of the reactions and to lower the anaphylactic risk and build tolerance so that accidental exposures are less dangerous. This family has spent about $40,000 on medical treatment, traveling, lodging, and of course, that's due to all the repeat trips to the US. And they've been doing this so far for 18 months now. And before this treatment, he couldn't even have nuts in the house. Any accidental exposure would trigger severe reactions. And this was just really affecting his quality of life and very dangerous and deadly. Like when you're this allergic, every day is a gift because you could literally just have that one big reaction and it take you out. So now he can eat small amounts of certain nuts every day. His tolerance has improved dramatically and his quality of life has changed significantly. And this story has gotten a lot of attention because it just pointed out to the fact that um, the UK, this is kind of an area where they're still developing their healthcare. They're not quite there yet, and being able to offer these treatments and make them more accessible to their residents. So now his family is obviously pretty wealthy because that's why they can afford to come here and do these treatments. But again, um, you know, everybody should be able to afford this. You know what I mean? So again, every type of healthcare system is going to have some issues. I still, after doing, research and looking at different stories like this that I see, I still feel that overall we do have a lot to be thankful for here in the US because this is something that, is available versus, it's really not as available or I should say as accessible in the UK. So just got to be thankful for, what we have. Thankfully, some people are able to move about and go to different countries and get some of the treatment that they need. But, we just have to just be thankful for what we have. So again, that is just again to illustrate that we still do have a lot great, with our healthcare systems here. And, you just don't fall into the idea of thinking, hey, one place is so much better than the other place with their healthcare and their this and that, because every place is gonna have things that they just haven't gotten the kinks worked out yet. But again, happy he's able to get here for these treatments. Now, I will say this though, like off the record, like if you are a person who your family just kind of has a lineage of like having to treat themselves. Like in my family, as a Black American, Black Americans um, had to get very good about treating themselves for things like this because they didn't have access to care. Obviously, you could go all the way back to slavery times. You weren't getting care, and then all the way up through civil rights. If there wasn't a Black doctor or hospital in your area, you weren't getting care. So you just had to learn things and you had people who, had studied these things and, learned these things. And so they were kind of like, little healthcare workers in the community. And I shouldn't even say little, I should say big because a lot of them, like the midwifery, the whole midwifery thing and doula and all that, that came from Black American women who, learned all these things from their experience and how to stop the bleeding and how to do this and how to do that. So I will say, in connection with this story, this is something that I know a lot of Black Americans, Caribbeans, and even Africans, I believe, already know this. And probably even people who are in Latin America, the Middle East, anywhere that you just have not had access for whatever reason, we have known about how to stop being allergic to things. Like if our kids have peanut allergies, we've always known give them a little mini piece of peanut with some water and give that to them a little bit every day. Pretty soon they're not going to be allergic to it anymore. So I really feel bad for this family because this is stuff that a lot of people in the world have already known and they could have really done these treatments probably at home if they had an EpiPen or at least a hospital nearby so that if anything went awry, they could immediately take him in. But this is how people do it. This is how underprivileged people have been able to survive and even have in some ways led the medical, fields, the medical industries. And, hey, we've already worked this out. We know this works for this. We've seen this. And then, the organized medical research, people then go in and say, okay, let's research this. And they're like, yes, this does work, or we've just historically seen that this works. So again, when I read this, I kind of felt bad because I remember a family that we knew, the kid was like allergic to everything. And this little sister, she was from Africa, and she was like, "Oh, if your kid is allergic to this, all you have to do is just give a little bit." And sister's like, "Oh no, like what? Can't do that. It's not gonna work." Da 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 da. And finally, she did ended up trying it, and she's like, "Oh man, this is working. Like, you mean I didn't have to be going to the doctor to, do all of this in a clinical setting? I could literally just give my kids a little piece of peanut, like a little bit at a time, and they will eventually grow out of it. Like, their body will adjust." Now, again, remember, I don't actually know what I'm talking about. So if this is you or your child, do not sit up here and listen to me and then just go start shoving peanuts down your child's throat. You need to do this in conjunction with the health professional. You need to talk to your doctor first. And remember, everything on this podcast is for really just almost entertainment purposes only. This is not medical advice. So you need to research it for yourself and make your own decisions. But I'm just saying, I have seen this work out. Even certain things with myself. I have seen changes in my own body. I've only ever had a few allergies, and that was because of things that issues that I had, and then it just kind of got exacerbated, and then I had an allergy. Like, I had a big allergic reaction to a medication I was on once, like a short-term medication, and I ended up being allergic to cats and a few other things, but I was able to get out of it. I'm still a little bit allergic, but I have built up my tolerance, and I don't go into anaphylactic like that, if so. But you still do your little precautions. I still try to have Benadryl on me for just some one-off occurrence or whatever like that, but I no longer need an EpiPen. You know what I mean? So there is a lot that can be done in the realm of allergies. Like I said, people have been doing this for a long time. Just take the teeny tiniest amount, just small. It's like called almost like exposure therapy. You expose yourself a little bit, then the body builds up a tolerance, and then you can, eventually start to have it. Yeah. So anyway, that's an expensive price tag when they probably could have just consulted someone who's, you know, lived it and just worked it out. Somebody maybe from, that's just had this knowledge passed down through their family because they're from a family that had to make it work. Their family couldn't afford or didn't have access to doctors and all that, and they probably would have saved themselves 40K. But anyway, at the end of the day, I am happy that he was able to come and get the treatments, and he's also part of a research study now. So now, because he is coming and doing it in a clinical setting, they are going to be able to offer people, more treatments based on what they're finding here. So you are contributing to the body of research every time that you go into a doctor and everything like that. So definitely, if you got the money for it, do it the expensive way, girl. But just know that with the allergy thing, there are some, ways that you could do that, a little more cost effectively if that's what you're interested in. So, all righty, ladies. Well, I hope that you have found this information to be helpful. I hope you have enjoyed this episode, girl, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's important. Welcome to Work It Lady podcast, where it's time to put in the work regarding educating yourself on all areas of your health and well-being. At Work It Lady podcast, we are dedicated to empowering women to take control of their health and mental well-being. Our mission is to provide women with the knowledge, inspiration, and tools needed to transform their lives, from improving nutrition and fitness, navigating womanhood, and if you're a mom, excelling at motherhood. Step 1, like this episode. Step 2, share it with someone you love, and even the haters, they need help too. Step 3, subscribe on podcasts, subscribe on YouTube, join our mailing list to stay in the loop on classes and events. I am so happy you made it here, girl. Thank you.